Let's make an updated Hammer 6-ball arsenal using only currently released bowling balls. Quick reminder, if you like what we do here, make sure to follow, like, and subscribe. Helps me out a ton. All right, let's get into it. So about 6 months ago, we made a Hammer 6-ball arsenal, and now we're going to make an updated one, getting rid of any balls that have been discontinued. Shockingly, Hammer hasn't gotten rid of many, but also adding any new ones that fit a little bit better than previously. Now, I will warn everybody, a handful of these balls are going to be staying the same because, like I mentioned, Hammer doesn't get rid of bowling balls that often, which is very surprising. When Brunswick had their massive purge a couple of months ago, no Hammer bowling balls were touched in the process. Very, very surprising, but that means our arsenal guide doesn't change much, but let's get into it. Starting off in the strong and smooth category, we are going with a fan favorite, one of the best asymmetrical solid balls on the market today. We have the Black Widow 3.0. The Black Widow 3.0 was on our previous list, came out in January of 24, and has been incredible for a long time. It is what we expect a Black Widow ball to do. Every Black Widow solid that has come out has been fantastic. This one is no different. Super, super strong. Not the strongest ball in your bag. It's a step below that, but it's still a fantastic piece. This thing is super smooth, super early, really good for wet, dry conditions, so it can be good later on in League. It does have a big core, so you have to watch out for it rolling out a little too early. Otherwise, this ball is going to be fantastic from straighter. I have seen reports that polish makes this ball look pretty good too, makes it look like a Black Widow 2.0 hybrid, so you can try that if you really don't like your reaction. A couple of honorable mentions in this slot. We're going to have two of them to be exact. First one is going to be the Extreme Envy. The Extreme Envy, still in production, is one of the, if not the strongest bowling balls on the market today. If you are speed dominant and you need something that's going to hook on a ton of oil, go with an Extreme Envy instead of a Black Widow 3.0. It has that little more kick, little earlier, a little stronger in strong oil. Honorable mention number 2 is going to be the Pure Envy. Now, the Pure Envy is a mix of the Extreme Envy and the Hammer Effect. This is what they called the solid version of the Hammer Effect without having the same name. Now, hopefully we see a solid effect sometime in the next couple of months. That would be amazing. Hammer, please do it. But the Pure Envy is going to be a hybrid, so it's going to be a little bit sharper than the Black Widow 3.0 and a little bit longer down lane. So if you want something a little bit later, little bit sharper because your axis rotation is pretty straight, pretty end over end, I'd look at a Pure Envy instead of the Black Widow. Let's jump over to the strong and sharp category, and this one is also not changing. It is one of the best bowling balls of 2024. Again, Hammer is absolutely demolishing it this year. The Hammer Effect. The Effect is an asymmetrical pearl, super strong core, super strong cover, but it is still a pearl, and this thing is sharp down lane for being how asymmetrical and how strong it is. It is super early, it is super sharp. A lot of people love their Hammer Effects. There is a crowd that doesn't. I found that out a couple of months ago when I made some videos on the Effect, but this is one of my personal favorite asymmetrical pearls to recommend to people. It does everything you want an asym pearl to do. Now, I will warn you guys again, similar to the last one, this would be a better ball for someone who's more speed dominant instead of rev dominant. If you're rev dominant, this might be too much ball for you. If you're speed dominant and you want to play a little more inside, I would recommend an Effect. If you want something smoother and later, look towards the Black Widow 2.0 hybrid. That could be a little better ball for someone who's more rev dominant, but the Effect and the hybrid 2.0 are going to be two awesome options. Let's move on to the medium and smooth category, and in this slot, we actually have a new bowling ball that we can put here, the Hammer Hazmat Solid. The Hazmat Solid is flying under the radar, but it is one of the better, if not one of the best, medium and smooth balls on the market today. This thing does everything you want a medium smooth ball to do. Now, the comparisons I've seen is that this is Brunswick's Phase 2. This does exactly what the Phase 2 does, but it just has a Hammer logo on the side and a different colorway. Now, that is an awesome, awesome comparison. If you can compare a ball to a Phase 2, one of the GOATs, then that means it's going to be really, really good. Unfortunately, this ball virtually does what the Game Breaker 5 does. So that is really unfortunate because the GB5 is also amazing, but it's very similar to the Hazmat Solid. So that's why the Hazmat Solid isn't doing as well sales-wise. But if you need a good middle of the road, just medium option, this Hazmat Solid is a great choice and a little bit cheaper than something like a Phase 2. If you're a little more rev dominant, I can recommend my favorite bowling ball that I wish could be on this list, but I don't want to make it too subjective, and that is the Scorpion Low Flare. This is a weaker medium and smooth option. It's going to be really good for both two-handers, no thumb bowlers, well, 3, numbers are hard, and people with a higher rev rate, more rev dominant. That's going to be a really good house shot ball. It helps you play a little bit straighter because the core of the low flare is so tiny. But this could be another option to substitute in case the hazmat is too strong. Let's move on to the medium and sharp category, and we are putting arguably the best medium and sharp ball on the market today in this spot, the Scorpion Strike. The Scorpion Strike is again flying a little under the radar, but this thing is incredible for being a medium sharp ball. It is a better version of the old Web Pearls from the past. If you guys remember those, there was a gray one and there was a green one. This is those bowling balls just amped up and more versatile. The problem with the old Web Pearls is they didn't like playing from deeper. Scorpion Strike doesn't care. It plays from straighter, it plays from deeper, it plays a little bit of everywhere. It is insanely versatile, and it is also weaker than a lot of the medium sharp balls on the market today. Storm has a lot of stronger medium and sharp balls, the Optimum Idol Pearl, the Phase AI, the Sublime, etc., etc. Motive didn't really have anything in this slot before they announced the Primal Rage that just got introduced. And before that, there was really nothing there minus a Hyper Venom, and same with Brunswick. There wasn't much in this slot. But now we do have the Scorpion Strike. This thing is blowing other balls out of the water, so I would highly recommend it. Jumping over to the weak category, we're going to start with the smooth options, and Hammer has not changed in their weak options. They haven't come out with any new balls in this category, so they're going to be the same that we had 6 months ago. Starting off, the Arctic Vibe, one of the best bang for your buck balls in bowling. The white and purple bowling ball is insanely strong for only being labeled at $110 before drilling. This price is absolutely ridiculous for the strength you get. It could fall up to a medium and smooth category ball, especially if you're rev dominant. So this is a really good bang for your buck. I want something smooth, but I don't want it to be as strong as, say, a Hazmat Solid, but you still want it to be usable. That's a hard thing with weaker bowling balls. Sometimes they're just not usable for the amount of oil we put out on the lane. But this ball is definitely strong enough to be good for that. There is one other option in this category, and that is the Radioactive Vibe. The Radioactive Vibe is both a smoother and weaker option compared to the Arctic Vibe. So if you're a little more rev dominant and you don't want as much ball as the Arctic Vibe is, go with a Radioactive instead, or you can even go even lower and pick up a Raw. Now, those bowling balls are probably too weak for usual use unless you're highly rev dominant. Then I would look at a Raw in that case. And finally, in the weak and sharp category, we are sticking with the vibes and we are going with the Ocean Vibe. Just like I mentioned for the Arctic, this ball's a little more bang for your buck than you'd expect. This is a little more around the strength level of a Hustle, where the Arctic is much stronger than a Hustle. The Vibe series, the Ocean Vibe specifically, is very close to the Hustle line. This one's going to be a little bit smoother though. The cover stock for some reason makes it very smooth, and same with the core. So it doesn't like insane angle unless you put a lot of polish on it and make it a weaker drilling. But this ball can play from a little bit of everywhere. I did previously own one. I did like it. It was great for this category. It's not too boomy down lane. It's not too sharp, but it is still smooth enough to be versatile from a lot of different spots. And like the Arctic Vibe, like I mentioned, the Raw is a good one if you're highly rev dominant. Other Raw Pearl balls would be great in this slot for highly rev dominant bowlers as well. But that is it. That is everything I have for Hammer Bowling. They have had a lot of new releases come out, but nothing to overtake some of their originals from 2024. Now, Hammer has had one of the greatest 2024 runs that any company has seen. I think they're #1 in 2024. We'll be ranking the companies based on what they released at some point in the future. But I think Hammer has absolutely done an amazing job this year, and I'm very excited to see what they do in 2025. But with that, thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Helps me out a ton, helps me make all of these videos. So thank you, and I will see you on the next one.